Episode 1 is here of the Lifestyle Show by SelectBlinds. Today, I'd like for you guys to meet Alicia Armstrong of Our Vintage Nest. Now, she's a lover of all things vintage, enjoys repurposing existing decor and accents, or finding old treasures and giving them a new purpose and new style. Now, currently, she's a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, Ava and Tyler, and she resides in Bentonville, Arkansas. Her dream job? To work with others to help them achieve a styled home that they're gonna love for years to come. Now, we started working with Alicia here in the fall of 2017, and through a series of successful projects together, she became a SelectBlinds partner and has been an avid and honest promoter of our brand. We are so excited to have the opportunity to chat with her today, live in front of thousands of SelectBlinds and Our Vintage Nest followers. So, here we go. We're live with Alicia Armstrong of Our Vintage Nest, episode 1. We're live today. We're going to talk design, we're going to talk life, and we're going to talk about how those two things intertwine. So welcome to the show, Alicia.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And this is actually my first time in Arizona in 20 years. I haven't been here since, I think, 93 or something.
I grew up in Ohio, and I haven't been back in 22 years, which is exactly when I left.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never been back, right? So, you know, that's another story, right? But today we want to talk you've been such a great partner of ours at Blinds. And we want to really talk design. We want to get into the method behind your madness. You've got the blog and you've got all the followers on Instagram, right? So how did that all start?
Yeah, so February of 15, I lived in Little Rock, Arkansas. I had heard about this small home decor community on Instagram that was sharing their homes, and I've always loved to decorate. So my friend was like, get on there and see what's up. And so I did, and I saw kind of what people were sharing, and it's like, I can do this. So I just kind of started taking pictures of my house and posting, and kind of self-navigated Instagram with like the hashtags and all the things that you use to find things. My name wasn't Our Vintage Nest at the time. It was Sweet Ava Kate, which is my daughter's name. Mm-hmm. It was a small business I had when she was a baby. And I noticed that while I was growing and people liked what I was sharing, my name didn't really fit with what I was sharing. So I changed my name to Our Vintage Nest, not knowing that I was marketing myself. And it just kind of blossomed. And as soon as I changed that name, it just skyrocketed back then. Now, it's a little bit harder to grow now. Yeah. But I felt like I jumped in early back then. And just shared, and blogging just seemed like the next best thing to do. And I knew that's where the money was. Probably like 6 months into Our Vintage Nest, I started thinking about that, and more companies started approaching me. In June of 16, I launched my blog, and that's kind of when it all started, and another platform developed.
You got kids.
I do.
Stay-at-home mom. So do we. We have 3 kids living at home, and it's a nightmare because you want great design in your home. Right. And I built my son this. I didn't build it. We had somebody build it, but it's this Transformer Optimus Prime bed, and it's amazing. And it takes up half of the room, but it's hidden now behind. I can't even tell you what it's hidden behind. Stuff, right? So you seek good design for your kids' rooms, but how do you pull that off when you have got kids and they just throwing stuff everywhere and
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, my kids' rooms are kids' rooms. They're messy, and behind the scenes, they're trash just like anybody else's kids' rooms. A lot of what you see on Instagram is staged and is like the ideal, inspiration picture. But my kids, I've been doing this for 5 years, and they've seen the renovations here and there, and I really just kind of let them have their rooms, be their rooms, and every now and then they have a staged, photo on Instagram of their space. But I try to kind of give them their privacy with their bedrooms. But as far as the rest of the house and all of that, it seems like it's always torn up doing something, and
styles come and go all the time.
Yeah.
What are some things that you're doing in the community now of style that you think the average person can pull off?
As you know, a lot of my design has been vintage over the years, and probably in the last 6 months, I've kind of turned that into more of a modern vintage, and just less is more. I think with being on Instagram and collaborating with so many companies over the years, I've accumulated a lot of things, and it's kind of forced me now to just kind of do with less, minimalist slash like classic looks that anybody can pull off. they can go to my Instagram feed and kind of see how it's changed over the last 6 months to a year. And it's less cluttered.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I saw cruising through your feed was, you see the vintage for sure, you see the repurposing. And the thing that I noticed was the less cluttered look, you get more talking points about, we have this wall in our house that's from this brick from these buildings that were taken down in Chicago. And it's just, the brick's 150 years old.
Yeah.
That's a story we get to tell.
Yes.
The brick's 150 years old. I didn't need to throw 80 other, vintage stories in there to pull that off, right? So that's what I saw is that, you can have your main talking points and that's the style, right?
Well, and that's what I want my pieces to represent. Like I want them to kind of stand alone and breathe and kind of not be surrounded by other things. Like I want there to be a story about a specific piece and like just it be special.
How do you bring masculinity and femininity into a home without, really pissing one or the other off, right? It's like, because if I walked in my house and it felt 100% feminine, I would try to, muscle my way and influence my wife into different decisions, even though I'm really kind of the guy making the decisions in our home, and she'd feel the same way. So is there a gentle balance between that?
It's funny, like my husband just kind of lets me take over the house and whatever, he trusts my design choices. And when we were building 3 years ago, I did let him kind of choose the flooring or choose the wall colors or whatever. We definitely compromised on some things. But in our house, he likes how I decorate. We've never really been battling any of those problems. But
here's what I'm hearing. Husbands, if your wife's the decorator, she's doing a great job.
Just trust her.
Just stop the comments. Wives, if your husband's the decorator, you probably need to get in there and have some influence on this this thing. So
and make sure that you're the one hanging things on the wall and that it's eye level, because when my husband and I were dating, things were like way up high.
Oh yeah, I would do that too.
And I'm like,
it's got to be 1 foot from the ceiling, right? Yeah,
like
it's got to be 1 foot.
Way up there. I don't know.
Who would you say inspires you as a blogger, an Instagrammer, a famous celebrity designer?
Okay, I would have to say Shay McGee of Studio McGee and McGee & Co. I went over to California over the summer and I saw her shop in person with a dear friend of mine. If I could just take everything from her shop and put it in my house, I would do that. I love her style. I think that's a lot of where my style now is coming from, is from her. And then my friend Marin at Wildflower Home Blog, her style is very similar too, and she loves Shay. And I think that's kind of when my style started changing a little bit, is when I went to see my friend, and I've always loved that style and I've loved the simplicity of it and the classic feel of it. And I just decided to go for it. I was like, I've loved this for a long time, and I kind of was able to wrap my head around how to accomplish that look in my home. So yeah, definitely her.
We're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for joining us. We want to thank Alicia for coming in and traveling all the way from Arkansas to come literally be our first guest in our studio. Tune in next time. We'll have a new guest. We're going to ask new questions. Thanks for showing up.